Hey, it's your money-saving friend, Jeff Hartman with washerbearings.com. But today I've got some information I want to share with you guys, and this could save you $300 to $400 when your AC goes kapooey. Now, this particular unit is an outside unit, and it's about 14 years old. And we're going to take a look at this thing and see what's in this thing. And there's not much to them actually, and don't be afraid to work on these things. But we want you to be safe when you work on things. So, at first, we want to make sure the power's off. And when you work on any appliance, and sometimes you have to turn the power on to do some troubleshooting, and you got to be really careful if you want to take readings or whatever. So, it's good to have the power off at first, and then you want to be aware of sharp edges on sheet metal, because when the manufacturers make these devices, appliances, they're not really made for people to fix typically, and they don't put the extra money into rolling the edges on the sheet metal so they don't catch you. So you got to be really careful when you have these appliances opened up so you don't get cut. And if you're not sure, call an AC technician and just bite the bullet. Just having this information though, you'll be armed with knowledge that if they're taking you to the cleaners, you'll have a feeling about that, because there's not much to these AC units. Now, of course, you have a heat pump. It's going to be a little more sophisticated because you have valves in there that reverse the freon flow and stuff. But this is a typical unit. It's a gas furnace with a AC. And the first tip I would recommend is going out and taking a picture of your label. That way you have it documented. And the motor up on top, the fan motor, you want to get a picture of that label too, because that fan motor will go bad eventually, and you can replace it yourself. And you might pay 80 bucks for a motor. But I had one friend where they ended up paying about $350 to have a service tech come out and replace that below, the outdoor fan motor. And you can buy another fan for 80 bucks and save $300 or whatever. So it's good to have this information. So if you do have to service it, like what type of freon, how much. This is R22, which most home air conditioners, they're starting to switch over to more environmentally friendly ones. And but most units out there are R22. And which you can't buy unless you have an EPA certificate. So that's why if you have any freon issues with your unit, if it's leaking, you're going to have to call in a technician, unfortunately. Where like the R134A for cars, you can go buy that and put that in your car. Hopefully, it'd be nice if R22, if they have a little 1 pound can you can buy at the auto parts store or even at the Home Depot and put in there and see if you get it working again. So, but R22 is a little more nastier for the environment. So that's why EPA requires you have a certificate to buy that stuff. And you got to have a vacuum pump and everything. You want to pump the system down. You can reclaim that freon that's in the system. So get those pictures. You can print them out or store them on a computer and make sure it's backed up in case your computer crashes. And here is the outdoor unit. And you see the 240. Now this is a disconnect switch, which is required. You got to have this somewhere. You should have a disconnect switch. This is bringing out 240, and you got the two refrigerant lines coming out, and one should be insulated. That's the cold side. And then you should have a real small wire, and that is the control wire. And that's one thing you want to check is, see, this wire, if it breaks loose and kind of hangs down and you run a weed whacker through here, you could chop that wire. And that could be just a simple repair to splice that wire back together. And because if that wire gets cut, the AC unit will not come on. You won't get your click, and then the compressor won't kick on. Because this 22 volt wire, it's about 24 volts AC. It runs a contactor in there, and we'll look at that. And as I mentioned, you want to take the power off this unit. So this is a square D box here. To open this thing up, you just push on this little tab right here, and then you can swing this door up. And I have that right here. And this particular unit has a 2-pole breaker in there. So you just flip the breaker off, and then that will kill power to the outdoor unit. Now, the 24 volt wire can still have 24 volts. It's low power, so it shouldn't be a problem. Now, here's the cover I took off. This is the corner. Of course, this is where the AC comes in right here, the 240 volt. And I decided to take out 4 5/16 screws, 2 on each side, and this whole panel came off. And you see there's cobwebs in here. Let's take another look here. You have a lot of cobwebs in here. So you might want to clean that up while you're in there too, get the cobwebs out of there. So you have two parts in here. You got a capacitor, and then you have the contactor. There's not much to these outdoor units. And this is what fails a lot, this capacitor, because it works pretty hard. This has 3 terminals, and it runs the fan and the compressor. Then you have a common. And with these types of motors, they put a cap in there to help they actually kind of generate another leg, and that gives this thing more torque to run. So and the capacitor does it's like a phase shift, and that allows that motor to run. So it's about 20 bucks, 25 bucks for this capacitor. But if you buy it from a technician, it's going to be 300 to 400. So I would suggest you go buy one now while your AC is working and have it as a spare. And then once it fails, just go out and swap that thing. And how you know if they failed, usually what happens is top will pop out. And it's protection, because when the cap shorts out, it puts a lot of heat in there, and then it bulges that can out, and then it breaks the 3 connections on the terminal. So that's like a safety disconnect. But you'll see the top of the cap will be bulged out. And you have 2 1/4-inch hex screws that hold this bracket on. Once you take these off, you can take the cap out. Now, there's 2 different types of caps. There's round caps, like this one's a round, and then you have oval. So there's 2 different versions, round and oval. Okay, let's look at the cap itself. This is a particular GE cap, and you don't have to use GE. There's a lot of brands out there. This is pretty common in HVAC, these types of caps. But this one is 2 caps. It's got a 5 microfarad and then a 45 microfarad, 370 volt. So if you call someone and say, hey, I need a cap, they're going to say, well, is it round or is it oval? Well, it's round. Okay. What's the microfarad? Well, you're going to say it's 5 microfarad and then 45 microfarad. So it's a dual cap. It's got 2 caps built in one. And then they need to know what voltage it is. You can always go higher on voltage, because they have some 440 volt caps and probably even higher than that. But so 370, you want to get, ideally you want to get the same one what you had. So this would be a 5 mic slash 45 mic slash 370 volt AC round. And that should be all you need to order this cap from anybody that sells these types of caps. And here's a contactor. It's like a single pole contactor, but it does have a connection on the right side just to bring the wire through. That way it gives you a place to hook up this 240 volt wire on the bottom. So this one here is a 24 volt coil. And so, like I said, when you turn off that disconnect, you can, if your furnace is on the inside, it's telling that AC to come on, you'll have 24 volts out here on that thin wire. Now, I took this wire off. It was cutting, this is brown wire right here. It was cutting across right here. This is a quick connect. There's 2 of them. And that's another thing, you could have some contacts that get corroded, and that can cause a bad connection. So it's always good to go outside while the system is running properly and have someone flip it on while you're out there, and you can listen. You should get a click. That's the contactor. Then the compressor and the outdoor fan motor should come up. And that way you get a feel for what it's supposed to do. You can make a video of it. That way when it's not working, you can tell exactly what's not working properly. So if you don't get the click, well, I would focus on the signal wire and this contactor. Contactor coils can open up. There's a real thin wire that connects these quick connects, and if that vibration, that little wire could break open, and then the coil won't work. And then you can just replace this. If you can't repair it, you can replace it, and you can probably get one for 20, 25 bucks. So that's the contactor. Now this was on the inside cover of that. It's like a kind of like a U that's on the corner I pulled off. It shows the connection diagram. You can see the compressor right here, and you can see the outdoor fan motor right here. And then here's the capacitor. And notice there's an F, that's probably for the fan. And you got C for common, and you got H, that's for the compressor. So now these right here, these could be inside the compressor, I'm not sure, or it could be if you have this might be a generic picture for like if you have a heat pump or whatever, because you have more valves and stuff. Indoor thermostat, indoor blower motor. So it gives you some legend down here, which we'll look at that. See capacitor, it says capacitor dual run. So it's a dual run cap. And then OFM is outdoor fan motor. That's the actual fan that's on that condensing unit, because you have to blow air through those coils to cool it. So I hope this was helpful. And please share this information with your family and friends. That way they can save money on expensive service costs too. Sometimes you will have to call in the professionals, but most of the time, if it's not Freon related, And like I said, you know, if you cut that wire with a weed whacker or weed trimmer or whatever, that can happen. The cap goes bad. That's probably two common failures. But if you do have a Freon leak, you know, it's R22, you're going to have to call in an EPA certified technician. And you know, they're going to charge you. But if you need to replace the AC unit, you could consider purchasing the unit yourself, have it delivered, and then you can have a technician come and just do the final connections. You could place the unit in, you know, where it goes, and he could just braze up the wire, you know, the tubing, the Freon tubes, and you know, pump the system down and put Freon in there if you want, and it might be a lower cost alternative. But you might have to call around some different places, because some places might not do that because they want to sell you the whole unit. That's where they make their profit. But you might be able to find someone that's a little low on work right now, and they might be able to come out and just, you know, solder up your Freon lines. So I hope this helps you. And again, be careful. You know, you're working with power, and you want to make sure that you're safe. And if you have any questions, you can leave those below. And notice I did put some websites down here. Lightpods.com, which is my home night light system that you can actually install in your house, and it kind of gives you moonlight throughout your house, and it's really nice because you can put a battery backup on it. So if the power goes out, these LEDs stay on, so it makes your house much more safer, and you can walk around your hallways and your stairs and in your bathrooms at night. You know, you put these in the kids' rooms; they can see the door at night, so they can get up and go to the potty. They can, you know, do that themselves, and just gives them a nice little night light. And that's my end of the slideshow. So if you have any questions, you can contact me at washerbearings.com and let me know how you do. Let me know if you save money. Let me know if you know anybody else experienced this problem where the cap went bad and they got to pay $350, $400. This is outrageous. And you know, easy stuff you can fix yourself. You might as well do it. Just like your washer bearings and the Maytag Neptune Stage 1 kit for the door latch issue with the wax motor. So I'm hoping this saves you money in the future if it doesn't now. And the idea is to have these spare parts on hand for 25 bucks. You can have a cap, and on the furnace I recommend you get the HSI, which is the hot surface igniter, and then the flame sensor, and have those on hand, because if the furnace is going to fail, it's going to fail in the wintertime in the dead of the winter, and that's, you know, and on a weekend. That's when you pay a premium for a service tech to come out. They're easy to change out. Those are the most common things. If the circuit board fails or whatever, that's, you know, you probably have to get a technician. So anyway, this is Jeff Hartman, washerbearings.com, and thank you, and you have a great day.